The Seventh Guest was highly influential because it had pre-rendered 3D, it had live video clips, and now to drop the mic a little bit on y'all's asses, it sucks. It's terrible. The story's actually kind of interesting. It really is, but the technology aging has failed it spectacularly, and this is the Every Game Ever Halloween edition. Let's hope the other games are better than The Seventh Guest, because The Seventh Guest is shitty, and I guarantee you I'm the first person who has played it in probably 10 to 15 years. Maybe more. Happy Halloween. Unless you play Seventh Guest on Halloween, then it's going to be bad game laugh time. Because you'll laugh at it. Because it's shitty. Because it's no good. Ooh, Devilish. This sounds like it will be scary. What's that? No, it's not. It's not. What does this have to do with the devil? I was lied to. This is boring. Alan Wake. This is cool. If your idea of cool is having your head up Stephen King's bunghole. Now, to be fair, that is a scary proposition. His Stephen King's rectal region, probably a frightening ordeal. Probably. He should write a book about that. This game looks cool, but the spell gets broken about the 4th or 15,000th time they find a way to throw you into the same forest level, and they basically made one level and had to just decorate the Stephen King bunghole Christmas tree around it. I think Alan Wake is very average, but I would still rather play it than a game called Stephen King's Decorated Bunghole Christmas. Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth is an unfinished game where the publisher went under before it could be finished, and one poor sorry son of a bitch finished it all themselves, which is an achievement unto itself because the game has some very, very cool things about it. Unfortunately, you have to Google solutions to game-breaking bugs, and it's not great for immersing yourself in a horror game or horror experience, but I don't know. You could do worse. You could play like Dead Space or something. Oh, this one's gonna hurt, Dead Space fans. I think your game's kinda shitty. Dead Space is a very outsourced, hyper-marketed, hyper-focused test group game. The character, Isaac Clarke, who you play, is a silent protag, which is fine, but he has the Princess Peach situation where he's got to rescue a girl just because he does, and he's supposed to, and it's got elements of BioShock where you buy items in places, but there's no in-game reason why there would be random kiosks where you buy upgrades none of it makes any sense. It just borrows from a bunch of other video games. It's the monsters are very samey. I like the gravity. There's some gravity jump where you go into zero gravity and you jump around with some moon boots or some shit. That's kind of cool, but that was the only innovation I saw. Everything else I saw was borrowed, pilfered, stolen, boring, and in some ways that bothers me more than a game that just sucks, because at least stuff that just sucks really bad is interesting. And Dead Space is not interesting to me. I think it is boring, and the people that like it are lame. Oh god, make it— no, make it stop. Firstly, the negatives. I am really tired of indie game ambiguity, or what I feel is getting off on ambiguity over the risk of resolving or telling a story. However, this is a game that has done so much else that doesn't bother me, at least not in the ways it should. It's a very minimalist game that makes you feel appropriately small, and it's uniquely frightening, and the best thing about Limbo is that it is, maybe more than any other game I've ever touched, as unsettling as it is comforting, and I love it to death. How far this Silent Hill stuff has fallen to make this game still one of the top, 3 to 4 in the series. It's pretty cool. Well, it came out when Resident Evil was very sort of action, silly, tank control, mansion goofiness. Silent Hill was a much more abstract kind of scary, which is much more effective. And to that end, this game's only real weaknesses to me, aside from, wow, the voiceovers, are it embracing more concrete details in the story later that it should have left abstract, because as soon as you know what's going on, it becomes less uncomfortable, and part of that is the reason why Silent Hill 2 works so well, but we'll have to do that another time. I am in my 30s, so the idea of using video games as a workout tool I find very scary. Left 4 Dead is a clever idea, but I think everyone has zombie fatigue by now. I don't know anyone who still watches The Walking Dead. It's going into like season 43 now. It's like Saturday Night Live at this point. And Left 4 Dead is cool. It's a cool idea, but it doesn't feel scary. There's no sense of urgency about the game. There's simply a sense of sort of frantic busyness, and so I don't think tonally I understand it's being a little cheeky to begin with, but it's a little unwieldy. Feels off the mark to me.